days for 21 books, for next 19 days for 19 books, and then now the next 14 days I am giving you suggestion for 14 books. So this period I suggested or I selected only small types of books, easy to read, easy to understand, and short stories which you can finish in one day or more than 1.5 day if you read continuously for 4 to 5 hours per day. So first I start with my favorite author, the Stephen King. How many of you know that the Stephen King written this book, Elevation? This is a different story. We all know that Stephen King is famous for writing the horror stories, mainly thick books, long stories, novels. But this is a very small one, very interesting and very imaginative horror story. If you have this one, please go and read this one. The next one is a totally different. I have chosen the different book because some books are known to you, some books are not known to you, some books are famous, some are not. But they are all small and very interesting. This is written by Supratim Sarkar, who is an IPS officer in Kolkata Police. This is the story about the freedom fighter. Before 1947, how our freedom fighters are fought for our country for freedom, and how Britishers are caught them and put them some criminal activities, and how they have. That's why they have this book is a very inspiring stories. They are small stories, but you will understand that how our freedom fighters are fought for their mission to protect our country, to make a freedom of our country. The next one is Coin. You know, Sandeep Sharma is now emerging, is a promising author in crime and horror fiction, and I have read this book. This is a very good book. There is a twist in the story in the last, so I don't want to tell you what was the story. Go and read this one, small one. This is a good one. And this is also a small stories, but it is a different stories about the animal, a horse. And you know about this story. This is a very famous story. Most of you have heard about this, or you have read this one. So I suggest you to get you inspired how a horse is lived in a confined area, similar like a lockdown throughout his or her life. So this is the story of this horse animal and the bond between with human beings. So this is a very, although it is written from the animal's perspective, horse's perspective, but this is a very inspiring story, and you will get some inspiration and motivations to live in a single or in a confined area as a lockdown situation. So get this one. This is another small book, Murder Mystery by Salil Desai. Salil Desai is also a crime writer. He is a crime reporter, but he is writing his book in the crime stories, mainly in thriller and crime stories. So I found these stories very interesting, and you will engage in each and every chapter. There is a twist and plots changes. You cannot predict what is going on in the next one. So I will suggest you this, go and get and read this one. This is written very simple language, easy understandable, and there is a twist in this story. So please get this one. This is a different story. It's a Fisher's Queen Dynasty. This is written from a fictional story about the Mahabharata tale about life of a woman. So this is a different story. Kavita Khanna has written this. Still I have not read this book, but I will suggest you to get this one. This is a very interesting story. I got this from someone who gifted me. So still I have not read this one. I am planning to read this during this lockdown period. Another is a very small, about the black hole. Science, truly pure science based, physics based story. This is Stephen Hawking's Black Holes. These are the lectures, small lectures, but these are the very informative and interesting and useful for everyone. Those who have interest in science, mainly in physics and astrophysics. So please, if you have this one, you will get this book and read this one. This is another story book on 13 reasons. This is about the college life, of school life of some friends, children, and somebody has died out of a situation, and this will give you some horrorness or thriller, what is going on their school life, their college life, and how their emotions are attached each other, and what happened is one friend died because of some activity, someone's of action, and this is also have become famous of series in. So please, I suggest you please go and find this one, 13 Reasons of Why. It's a very good story. And many of us do not know about this woman, Reshma. But if I tell you how we know about this woman, because the film of Chapak. The film Chapak is based on the life story of Reshma Qureshi. Reshma Qureshi is an acid victim girl. She attacked by acid during when he is going to his college at around the age of 16 or 17. And this is her life story, how she struggled, how she come up with the situation of stigma, how he has survived situations, how he have find a livelihood, how she become famous in her life after acid attack. So acid attacks lifers are not as normal life. They have different situations coming up, different stigma. They have very options to survive. So Reshma Qureshi survived, and she became an inspiration for many women. Not only the acid victim survivors, but also those who are normal human beings. So please, I suggest you read her life story, and you will get inspirations from this storybook. And this is by 13 Bubblegums, 13 for stories by Preeti Shinoy. She has written the very small stories, live anecdotes, very funny stories of her life, what she had experienced during her life, very small one. But each and every story has some meaning, some inner meaning, some values, some suggestions, and some interesting facts, what happened to her life. She has written this, although she has said that it is a fiction stories, and she mentioned that it is from life of stories, but these are the good book. This is a good book. You will get this one, and please find this one and read this one during this period. This is a Time Sister Letter. This is the most funniest book I ever found. This is this book about an author who has written so many letters from different companies, invention companies, marketing companies, and so many factories. So that's he mentioned that he has invented so many gadgets, so many medicines, so many instruments, so many other things, and those are not in reality practical. So he has responded by several funny comments, funny letters. Some are rejected, why he is rejected. She has designed some many funny things, and so this is a very important funny book. If you have, this is a very rare book, you will not find it, but if you will get it, you will go and get this one. It will be a good read for you, and you will get most funniest thing ever you have read this any book. This is the most interesting book. Although many of you do not know about this book, there is 11 teen crime stories by Ira Dwivedi. The teen crime stories, this is a very important book in this situation. This is a book about the stories of the juvenile crimes. The crimes, how children are doing in a school life or in early college life. This is a story of a situation how children, school boys and girls strangle in between their, either in a lab or in some situation to take revenge. How they involve their crime, how they have done their crime without knowing the fact, situation or anything, any consequences what would happen. So if you are a teenager or if you have a teenage boys, girls in your house, it is must go and get this one, read this all the stories. Although they are all the stories, but all the situations, all the happenings, okay, we can relate to your life or in your family life or surroundings or someone who is in school or in his college. So please go and read this one, find this one. This I suggest you every home should have this book. Every children, every school boy should read this book. Girls should read this book one. Every parent should bought this book and give their children to read this one, to make aware that if a crime has been done, there is nothing, nobody can do anything. Anyone can save them. So before having any crime, before doing any crime, anyone should be aware of these situations. What are led to be a criminal or to be a crime? Why you are doing? Someone is doing crime. So please go get this one and read this one. This is another different story. This is a tale of Siddhartha Hermann Hesse. It is a very famous book. Most of you have heard this book, but many of you have not read this book. This is also a very inspiration story. Life changes life upon a person known as Siddhartha. This is not only original Siddhartha, Buddha's story, but this is a fictional story of a person known as Siddhartha. So I suggest you to, if you have not still read this book, please go and read this one. This is a very important book. And this is my all-time favorite, The Little Prince. I am reading this book since my childhood. I have read this book many times. These stories are not only imaginative but also give inspiration. I find every time I read this book, I find some elements of imaginations to write some stories, to write some books, to write some other articles about the situation. This is a fictional story, but the character in the film you can relate. You can relate yourself in this character in this book. So I suggest you to go and get this one, read this book if you have, or if you have not, you will find this book in any place, either in Amazon, Flipkart or any place, or you also get it the PDF version. So during this situation in this lockdown phase 3, for 14 days, I give you a suggestion of 14 books. Those were the different books. Those are the small books, easy to read. So next time, please be attached with my channel and subscribe it if you like it. And I also request you, if you want to get any book suggestion, if you want to read any book, if you want to read any want any book want to read, to review any book, please comment me and I will suggest you what kind of book you want to read and where you will get this book, this one. And I also request you to, if you need any book, where to find them, any version, PDF version, please write me in this comment section. I will reply you with a positive one. That's where you get this book.